In the mountains of East Tennessee, there were families that nobody could explain. Their neighbors couldn't place them. The government couldn't categorize them. Census takers wrote one thing one decade, and they had European surnames, dark skin, and sometimes pale blue or hazel eyes. They lived deep in the Appalachian hills, apart from everyone. And when you asked them where they came from, they all gave the same answer. An answer that, 2 centuries later, DNA would prove was almost certainly a lie. This is the story of the Melungeons, and what science uncovered about them is not what anyone expected. To understand the mystery, go back to the early 1800s. When settlers of European descent pushed into the ridges of what is now Hawkins County, Tennessee, they found something they did not expect. People were already there. Families with dark complexions, already farming, already gone from wherever they had originally come. In a world obsessed with sorting everyone into white, black, or Indian, these families fit nowhere. So they were given a name, Melungeon, and it was not a compliment. Where the word comes from is still debated today. Some trace it to the French word for mixture, others propose Portuguese roots. What everyone agrees on is the meaning underneath it. These were people who belonged to no single category, and in early America, not belonging was dangerous. They were pushed off good land, barred from voting, denied the right to testify against a white person in court. So the Melungeons retreated deeper into the mountains, married among themselves for generations, and held tight to one story about who they really were. The problem is, almost everyone had a different story. Over 2 centuries, 4 major theories tried to explain the Melungeons, and people didn't just believe them, they fought over them. Theory 1, they were Portuguese. This was the Melungeons' own claim. Ask a family their origin, and for generations the answer was the same. Census records from the 1800s show families specifically asking to be recorded as Portuguese. Hold on to that detail. It matters more than it looks. Theory 2, the lost colony. In 1587, an entire English colony on Roanoke Island vanished without a trace. Some believe the survivors moved inland, intermarried with native peoples, and became the Melungeons. A romantic idea, but no evidence ever connected the two. Theory 3, shipwrecked Turks and Moors. One of the most popular ideas held that the Melungeons descended from Ottoman or North African sailors who made their way inland before the English arrived. It was exotic, dramatic, and it gave them an ancient origin. And Theory 4, a lost Native American tribe. Many simply believed the Melungeons were indigenous, a forgotten tribe that had survived in the hills. 4 theories. Each had passionate believers. Each had families who knew deep in their bones which one was true. And every one of them was about to be tested against something that does not care what you believe. In April 2012, a peer-reviewed paper appeared in the Journal of Genealogy. Its title was deliberately plain: Melungeons, a multi-ethnic population. It was the first serious academic DNA study of the group, led by researcher Roberta Estes, with Jack Goins, Janet Crain, and Penny Ferguson. What made the study different was its method. The team did not rely on family legends or skin tone or old photographs. They went line by line through documented Melungeon families, the ones actually named as Melungeon in the historical record. And they tested 2 specific things. First, the direct paternal line. Why DNA passed essentially unchanged from father to son. That tells you where a man's father's father's father came from. Second, the direct maternal line. Mitochondrial DNA passed from mother to child. That reveals the deepest origin of the mother's mother's mother. Two independent records written in the genome that no family story could rewrite. Here is what the DNA showed. The maternal lines that were tested traced back overwhelmingly to Europe. The mothers, going back to the deepest root, were European women. But the paternal lines told a completely different story. Many of the direct male lines carried a Y chromosome haplogroup, designated E1b1a, that is overwhelmingly sub-Saharan African in origin. Read those two facts together, and the mystery collapses into a single, stark answer. The Melungeons were not shipwrecked Turks. They were not the lost colony of Roanoke. They were not, in their founding lines, a hidden native tribe, though some families did marry into documented native lines over time. The genetic evidence pointed to something far closer to home. The Melungeons most likely began with African men and European women forming families together in colonial Virginia, generations before they ever reached the Tennessee mountains. Not exotic, not ancient, American, and rooted in the most uncomfortable chapter of early American history, which raises the real question. If that is who they were, why did they spend 200 years insisting they were Portuguese? To understand the lie, you have to understand the law. In the America these families were born into, race was not just identity. It was property. Whether you could vote, own land, marry, or keep your own children depended entirely on which box you were placed in. And a single drop of African ancestry could move you from free to less than free. A mixed family faced a brutal choice: tell the truth and lose nearly every right you had, or find a story that explained dark skin without the word everyone feared. Where Portuguese was that story, and it was deliberate. Portugal's own population carried Mediterranean and African heritage, so the claim could explain an olive complexion while keeping a family on the white side of the line. Records show Melungeon families specifically pushing to be recorded as Portuguese rather than as a person of color, because that one word could protect their land, their marriages, and their children. The Portuguese story was not ignorance. It was survival, a shield, passed down so many times that the descendants stopped seeing it as a shield and started believing it was simply the truth. That is why the 2012 study hit so hard. The researchers were not correcting a footnote. They were telling families that the origin story their ancestors had risked everything to protect had done its job too well. So who were the Melungeons really? Not a lost tribe, not a shipwreck, not a romantic accident of history. They were one of the earliest multi-ethnic communities in America, born from African and European ancestors and forced by an unjust system to hide in plain sight. The mystery was never really where they came from. The mystery was why a country made an entire people so afraid of the truth that they buried it for 200 years, until the one witness that could not be silenced, their own DNA, finally spoke. If you want more stories where genetics rewrites the history we thought we knew, subscribe, because the next one might be about a group much closer to you than you think.